Hey guys, Jason here, Northwest Fly Fishing Outfitters. Today we have a really special guest. George Marshall is going to show you how to tie the Studdler, Steelhead Muddler. You're in for a treat. This guy's awesome, and we're going to show you an awesome new fly.
Alright, so I got a large Pro Tube hook guide and a Pro Micro Tube on the adapter needle. So start out with some 50 denier Vivus gel spun thread. And I'll keep my wraps flat at the back because I'm going to put a little Mylar tinsel tag on it. Just nice touching turns. And go about like 5 or 6 millimeters. And jump in and put on a little Pro weight, and that's going to sit right in front of that. And this muddler is going to have some deer hair on it, which is going to make it more buoyant, so it needs that to counterbalance it. So I'm going to try to keep my thread bulk to minimal so that goes on properly. And do a little composite loop at the back here. Alright, so get some Senyo's Eat a Peach dubbing and pull it out of the package, and to make sure that it's all the same length, just hold it and keep pushing it towards the middle. Just keep pulling out, pushing back in, and what you get is like a nice even block, and then you can kind of distribute it downward. Spread it out, and then I have some Senyo's freckled predator wrap in the gold color. And I'm gonna put it in. I don't want it much longer than an inch. And I want it to have a little bit of distribution backwards so that it props up a little bit. So that's looking pretty good. A little more. And I think I'm going to add a tiny bit more on that. Couple strands. Grab my bodkin, I can just kind of spread it out. Take this bottom half, fold it over, rub off any excess. I give it a good grind into the table. And what you get is a pretty robust little shoulder there. A little bit long on the predator wrap. I'm going to make a dubbing loop. The thread isn't super thick, so I'm going to double it over on my finger just like that. Take a couple wraps around it. Cinch it down. Go ahead and grab my spinner. This is the hairline dubbing spinner. Some people use wax. I usually don't. I usually only use that if I'm making a big composite loop where I need everything to hold in place, because I find it makes it kind of gunky. Insert it. Go back and spread these out again. Just kind of making sure that's well distributed, and then give it a spin. With a Velcro brush here, just pick it out. A little hair or something stuck in there. Just brush that out. It's looking pretty good. I'm just gonna wrap that really tight. Right in there. Cross it over. And then cinch that in pretty good. Fine with this 50 denier gel spun, if you, on these pro tubes, if you pull too hard on it, you can actually cut the tube. So don't apply too much pressure, but want to make sure it's not going anywhere. Grab one of these pro drop weights. This is the medium size. Alright, cool. So, the next thing I'm going to go in with is a little bit of this Ripple Ice Fiber from Hairline. This is the blue color, but it looks kind of like lavenderish purple to me. I don't need too much, just a little bit. This is kind of just flash. I'm just gonna like openly distribute it all over that and then pull it back. Some locking turns. Brush this out again. And that's kind of just mainly on the top here. The top hemisphere of the fly. It's looking good. And then I think I'm going to go with some white barred ostrich, not too much, maybe like 10, 12 strands. Just kind of coaxing those fibers, even them out. And then for length, usually twice the length of the front of my drop weight to the end of my hook guide is kind of what I go for. And then I'll hold down with one wrap and then sort of pull and loosen off, and then do that again and again, and then put another wrap and do it, and then you can kind of move it around with your thumb. And this is a lot quicker and a lot more practical than putting in a dubbing loop, in my opinion. And also with the dubbing loop, you have less control of the distribution of the fibers. It's looking good. I think it needs just one or two more. There we go. Just trim those butts. Alright, so now add a little of this purple ostrich. And usually what I look for is 3 or 4 fibers on each side and a little bit longer than my initial collar of ostrich.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Just maybe a centimeter longer. Lock that in. Check. Looks pretty good. Alright, cool. So, now for some flash. A little bit of pearl angel hair. Not that much, just a little bit. Just kind of spread it around over the top. And for flash, you can pretty much do anything you want. It's pretty much endless. And then I got some purple tinted crinkle mirror flash. Let's go 2 strands on each side of that. Go ahead, double that back. And that's looking pretty adequate. Alright, so I think we're at, just put on some deer hair. And let's see, some purple deer belly hair. I'm just going to take a clump. The first clump, you want a good amount because you want it to go all the way around the fly. But you don't want it too much because you don't want to make this thing too buoyant. Go in and comb the shorts out with a little comb. The end of our stacker. Now sometimes when you have really long deer hair, it helps to stack it. Just cut it a little bit shorter so that you have it more under control and doesn't fall out. want this to extend about 3/4 of an inch back. And the best way to get this all the way around the hook is to place it on top, pinch it down, then pinch it around the hook and start pushing down on the fibers so that they encircle the hook. And take a loose wrap, and they will naturally distribute, for the most part, pretty fairly. And take a few wraps through that to make sure nothing pulls out. Pull everything back. Take a wrap. Thread sometimes, since it's not a monochord, it can start splitting a little bit and getting a little frayed. Then you pretty much just gotta keep wrapping. Sometimes you can twist it clockwise to kind of cord it up, but just gotta be patient. But it's worth it for the strength and the minimal room space used up. Take some more hair. We don't need to stack it this time, but we still gotta comb those shorts out, so drag that through there. And once again, not too much hair, but about a little bit less than the first clump, but and then I'm just gonna go in here. Attach this on the top, and then I can just spin this pretty much like you would any other hair. You can twist a little bit. Check that out, that's looking pretty good. And just pack that a little bit, push it back. Take our thread through. Alright, so now this gets a little bit tricky whip finishing on a tube like this. So the best way I do this is with my Pettigene vise. I have an adapter in the back for another tube. You don't have to do this, but it makes it a little bit easier. And then I'm just gonna pop that off. Give it a rough trim. Push it back on. And then now basically we have much less room on that tube getting in the way of our whip finish tool. About 3 turns in there. Trim it. Okay, so now you kind of gotta stroke these all back. And then I cut it not very far, maybe like 1.5 millimeters above my thread. And then you shouldn't have problems with the lighter burning the deer hair if you do this right. The other thing you could do is pre-burn the head from the start, but that kind of restricts the amount of. Let's see if I can get that a little better. This part takes time. You don't want to rush it. Just get it in there. Just burn it right like that. And it may have wilted 2 or 3 in the front, but it's no big deal. Just gonna pop this back on, reopen that eye just in case it got closed a little bit. And then we get the cutting part. So the first step in cutting on one of these that I do is identify the bottom, and I make a flat cut. I just kind of get some hair away. And then I get rid of these hairs in the front by staying at one angle and rotating. I just keep cutting. This. Let's see. All right. And I just keep cutting way across. Alright, so now what I like to do is I'll set my scissors at a certain point, and I'll just rotate, and any hair that crosses my scissor just gets cut, so that you kind of make them all have the same length going backwards. Alright, let's check that out. Cut any flash that's not to length. I think it could be a little flatter right there. And you can mess with your head as long as you want, but in reality it's a fish and fly. Last thing, just give it a little comb. Just comb it out a little bit. Alright, it's looking pretty fishy, so you know, fish it the way you would any steelhead fly. The way I like to rig this one specifically is I'll have a loop knot and a hook, and then I'll put the knot of the loop in the hook guide and have that hook dangle at the back. And in terms of like the way it rides in the water, usually kind of spins all around. If you get that knot wedged in that hook guide good enough, the hook will dangle like this, and it'll ride with this stuff on top and the flat part on the bottom. But it doesn't really matter. It kind of swims from all angles. So.